Did you know it was a sin to kill a mockingbird? Today, the story that'll be told is about a mockingbird. I'm sorry, several mockingbirds. Why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird, and why these people in this story is metaphorically referred to as mockingbirds. Scout will tell this story in Sleepy Macomb, Alabama, as an adult, but has at how she remembers it as a child. The story takes place where she asks Atticus, why is it a sin to kill a mockingbird? Atticus then tells her it's a sin to kill a mockingbird because mockingbirds are innocent and they bother no one. Scout remembered that throughout her childhood. Tom Robinson was on trial. He was on trial for the rape and the beating of Mayella Ewell. Mayella Ewell, metaphorically, is the reason the mockingbird was killed, who was Tom Robinson. Tom Robinson was asked by Mayella Ewell to cut up a chifferobe for 5 cents. Tom Robinson agreed. Little did he know when he agreed to cut this chifferobe that he would be killed because of it. Back then, the African American, or as they were known back then, the Negro, was not liked. Bob Ewell, even though it wasn't said directly in this story, was the actual person that raped and beat his own daughter, Mayella Ewell. But it was implied. Bob Ewell and Mayella Ewell continued on with this story and this lie until it went to trial. It was proven that Tom Robinson couldn't have done the crime because his left arm had been lame since he was born. That didn't matter. In the town's eyes, he was guilty. He went to trial. He was put in jail. And he had to be protected in the jail by Atticus Finch, who was also one of our mockingbirds. Atticus protected him till he couldn't protect him anymore, and he was murdered in jail. They murdered a mockingbird. He was innocent. He hadn't bothered anyone. Our next mockingbird is Atticus Finch. Atticus is the father of Jim and Scout. Atticus is a single parent, an excellent marksman, a wonderful neighbor, and a wonderful attorney. Atticus is a mockingbird because even though he's all these wonderful things and he was highly respected in his town, they hated him for defending Tom Robinson. Even though Atticus wasn't physically killed like our first mockingbird, Tom Robinson, he was killed in spirit because he was considered a mockingbird. The town hated him. He was killed as a mockingbird. Scout eventually would go on to meet Boo Radley, but in a way that she never would have thought that she would have met him. Boo Radley was our third mockingbird. Boo Radley was a mockingbird because they were so curious, Jim and Scout, about Boo Radley. He was their neighbor. No one had ever seen him. And the older neighbors who did at one point see him had all these made up stories. Boo Radley stabbed his mother, his father, he was a murderer, he was insane. They would learn to find none of this was true. Boo Radley was a mockingbird because, again, he was innocent. He didn't bother anyone. But yet the townspeople had came up with all of these stories about this mockingbird. We'll get back to Boo Radley later. We're back on Mayella Ewell. This is the one person, her and Bob Ewell, who is the nucleus and the reason all of these mockingbirds were killed, whether it be physically or metaphorically. Mayella Ewell would live to regret it. This story is so uplifting, yet it's so depressing. It's so wonderful, yet it's so horrible. When we get to the very end, Scout will see why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Bob Ewell, who is one of the nucleuses to why all these mockingbirds were killed, Bob Ewell tried to kill Scout, who was our final mockingbird. He tried to kill her physically, stab her with a knife as she was coming from her school play. It was Boo Radley, our mockingbird, one of our mockingbirds, who would save Scout's life. Boo Radley, who was lied on, who was accused of being a murderer, of being insane, one mockingbird saved another mockingbird. So Scout soon learned that it was a sin to kill a mockingbird. Boo was not those things that they said he was. Boo should never have been condemned by the city. Scout, she lost her innocence because of all the things that went on with all these mockingbirds being killed. Atticus, a wonderful attorney, his spirit was broken. And Tom Robinson, our other mockingbird, he was dead. So you see, it is a sin to kill a mockingbird in so many different ways and forms. But when Scout eventually ended up being the best of friends, and now we know why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.